Okay, hello and welcome. If you've come by today to Vibe, we're mostly just going to be doing the Durango Kingdom questline now that we're level 79, which is when it unlocks. It's been a while since I've done an EE stream, mostly because of how big the level grind is for the 80 cap. And since I'm planning to retire by the end of January, I haven't been playing as actively, so I didn't grind hardcore this time, but here we go. Now that we're level 79 and on the verge of level 80, I figured this would be a good time to start and complete the Durango Kingdom quest. So a bit of a recap. Last time in Hayward Seavale, the city was under attack. This is the capital of the Breeder Kingdom. They are under siege by a city in the sky. Unfortunately, we can't quite see it up there, but it is apparently up there somewhere. But with that said, to get to the city in the sky, apparently we need the help of one of these purple flying steeds. If only we had one of our own. But the Watcher here, Duran, is going to assist us in getting up there. Duran stood near the castle quietly, surveying the damage. He led a majestic horse with wings through the highlands, his sorrow which was etched in the horse's eyes. You were glad to know a member of the Watcher organization had survived. He might be the key to resolving this mess. Yes, and as you may recall, at the end of the Hayward Seavale quest line, we went into the Parliament of Hayward Seavale, only to discover all of the Watchers had been massacred by the Bane Prince Dasher Adwam. But it looks like Duran escaped that slaughter. Eternal children, we have failed, Duran said hoarsely, his head down. Most of the Watchers are gone. Only a few survived. I wish I had been with them when they... Choked with emotion, Duran turned away. He put a comforting hand on his shoulder. Even Lichess failed to stop them, and now we've lost him. What do we do? He asked sadly. You explained what had happened in Breeder Congress and pointed out that Lichess was missing, not dead. Really? But I thought... Duran sobbed gustily. And this is not over yet. There's still a chance to prevent disaster. Yes, I believe during that time in Congress, the Bane Prince actually kidnapped the unconscious fallen figure of Lichess. According to information collected by Lichess about the floating continent, it hovers true to a steady column of light. However, we also found out that the barbarians were holding a ritual to make the continent fall. This might have just been an elaborate trap for Lichess, and he fell right in. We must rescue Lichess. Only he knows how to stabilize the light column. I bet the Bane Prince brought him to the floating continent to do his dirty work. This horse was extremely close to Lichess. We'll need his help. Duran stroked the plumed wings of the beautiful horse. It whinnied softly. When you're ready, let me know, and I will summon the rest of the Watchers to go with you. I just hope it's not too late. Let's go. Okay. Here we are at the Durango Kingdom at last. We got all these JPEG Sky Islands off in the distance. I wonder if we get to explore those one day. Yeah, it's interesting because on the world map, Durango Kingdom is treated on the same elevation as the rest of it. It would have been pretty cool if we got like another map player further above. Like if they ever release those two up there. But anyway, let's see. Sorry, let's get the warp portal before I forget. And we can come back here anytime. Apart from that, it seems like a pretty small area, to be honest. We've got these 4 distinct islands, but in comparison to like the size of Devastation Realm, or even Sunrise, it feels a bit smaller. But I guess that's because these new maps of the 80 cap are more focused on story, which is why we're doing the story. Okay. The quest books we'll grab now, but we'll do them last. I will turn the sound up mildly. Yeah, this is not what I was expecting coming up here at first glance. Apparently this is where, like, the invasion is coming from, or whatnot, or where the Bane Prince is, but it seems pretty calm and peaceful so far. Okay. When you landed in the floating continent, you discovered that the Watchers had established a temporary campsite on the edge of the continent. The landscape looked fairly normal. If it weren't floating in midair, it would just be an average place, the kind you pass through often but rarely remember. You smelled the magic fluctuations in the air, just like in wetlands. It smelled of maple and wet grass. Perhaps the barbarians' Durango kingdom was also a thriving country in some parallel dimension. There's no time to wax poetic, though. The sounds of a battle in the distance brought you back to reality. Okay, so there is something going on. Eternal children, the situation here has changed. Duran wrung his hands. These barbarians seem to have lost their minds. They madly attack our campsite, chanting strange words we cannot understand. I just know this all comes back to the Bane Prince. We had to work quickly, Duran said, shaking his head sadly. According to Luches's intel, we had to stabilize the equipment to prevent the continent from falling. Duran muttered, deep in thought. But we're virtually trapped by the barbarians here, and we don't have the manpower to send out a search team. Luckily, the madder the barbarians grow, the more stupid they seem to become. Eternal children, we can distract them to buy you time to break out and search for the stabilizing devices. Get as much information as you can. We still know very little. And take this device with you. It senses energy fluctuations, so it'll tell you when you're close to the necessary equipment. Okay. So what I find interesting is they keep referring to the barbarians up here, which is also what they refer to Luches and his people as. But the thing with that does that mean that's where these guys actually come from? Is this where they call their homeland? Okay. It hasn't given us... okay, it's... This area seems similar to Lowe's Plains. And it looks like the quest tracker and the map movement is broken, so we're going to be walking around manually. Okay, so if we look at the map, we can see where it'll end up taking us. They all look like they are over here. Okay. They're all conveniently right next to each other. Who are you? Okay, you seem like you're going to be involved with the anecdotes, so let's remember you for later. I'm guessing, based on his description there, it's going to involve running around these floating device stabilizers. There is one more over here by the looks of it that it didn't send us to. I'm curious why that might be. Okay, well, let's head back to Duran. Duran. Okay. But yes, we just got word of what the new update is going to be tomorrow. I thought it was going to be the first batch of trials, but it looks like we are getting DD finally, Devastation Dimensions. I know a lot of people have been excited for that. They've released the content in a pretty wacky order, to be honest, but hey, it is what it is. It's the first time we've been here, but it still feels so oddly familiar. Duran took a deep breath. Perhaps it is because of the barbarian's blood running through our veins. I can feel something in the air, a power that is driving the barbarians insane. It's dissipating, yes, but their madness remains. When you returned to the campsite, you told Duran everything, explaining that the floating equipment needed Everworld energy to work properly. Now, how did we determine that? If that's true, we must make sure that there is enough Everworld energy to stabilize the floating equipment. But we don't have nearly enough watches to supply that amount of energy. What do we do? Luchess was always the one who came up with ideas, Duran sighed, scratching his head. Now, the problem with this is that's the same reason these barbarians are being controlled. And going mad, so I don't know what to do anymore. Unless, of course, we can find a barbarian who hasn't gone mad. And who knows how to recharge the equipment? That's likely, right? Duran sighed. Eternal children, you've got to find a way. There are tents full of barbarians on the island. Someone out there must have survived this plague of insanity. Could you go take a look? I wish I hadn't relied so much on Luchess. I feel like my brain's hardly functioning right now, but he always did the thinking for me. Okay. Well, luckily it points us in the direction of where we need to go, but yeah. Here we go. Yeah, these guys hit pretty hard. They buffed the stats of a lot of mobs in preparation for the Awakened classes, which were released last week, and which we are on the verge of getting ourselves. While you searched the barbarian's tents, a male barbarian suddenly appeared. He prepared for an attack, but he stood there silently and did not approach you. In fact, he didn't react to you at all. He merely stood there, still as a statue. He stepped forward cautiously. If not for the rise and fall of his chest, you think the barbarian were dead. That, and he's kind of standing there. People usually fall when they're dead. You were curious about what happened to him, and you couldn't find signs of the badness present in other barbarians. Judging from his clothes, he was likely of a higher class of barbarian. You wondered if perhaps he was exactly what you needed, a barbarian who had not yet gone mad and knew the information you desperately sought. You decided to give it a shot. What did you have to lose? Oh, that was convenient. You looked around and found a letter under an empty bottle. You unfolded the brittle paper and began to read. Whoever finds this letter, please locate the ingredients mentioned here. Combine them well, stirring clockwise 3 times and counterclockwise twice. Shaken, not stirred, then force me to drink the concoction. You must do this before I starve to death. Apparently the man knew what was going to happen to him. Your curiosity was piqued. The materials were easily obtainable, so you decided to follow the instructions. Okay, well, it looks like he's not mad, but he's not fully there yet either. So we need a few ingredients, and I remember seeing them on the West Island when we checked out the stabilizing devices. So let's see what's over there. I'm guessing we kill you. And then the fairy and the flower. Hello, random cactus. Okay, I think the fairies were this side somewhere. I saw one of them. There we go. Damn. Over 80% crit and you missed 2 crits in a row. Okay. Now that's gonna get us caught again. Okay, let's go around. If we can get up, there we go. But yes, I'll probably look into streaming DD tomorrow when it's out. Let's see if we can rally the troops for some shenanigans. It'll probably be easy to get people for the first day of release, but if it's anything like Vingot, people are going to die down on doing it before long. So you're probably going to want to take advantage of the hype craze within the first week to get as much as you can. Okay, the man continued to stand there silently, completely immobile. He wondered how long he'd been standing there, how long he'd been without food and water. He tried to detect pain behind his deadened eyes, but there was nothing but silence. We want holy gems. You return with the materials listed on the back of the letter. Mix them as instructed, and force the resulting potion down the man's gullet. After drinking the potion, the man's breath strengthened little by little. He began to cough quietly, but it was soon doubled over with heavy coughing. His eyelids fluttered as he squinted at you. Are you? He managed, gulping for air. He finally said, gasping and rubbing his throat. You explained your current situation to the man. You needed a way to replenish the power source that kept the continent hovering mid-air. Just as I feared, this could be the end of my people, the man muttered fretfully. We must recharge the equipment and prevent the continent from falling. I can tell you how, though the information is not for outsiders. I fear it may be our only hope. First, though, he must do something very important. He attempted to step forward and fell flat on his face. He must have stirred the concoction clockwise too many times. I can't move anything but my head. You're not much good at making potions, I gather. It'll take a while for me to be, well, mobile in any way again. In the meantime, take the map from my pocket and bring back the items buried at the marked spot. Okay, where is that going to be? And back to the West Island again. Convenient. Here we go. Just realized it's a seahorse. Back we go. Okay. Blast it, move. The man struggled, his face blushing in dark scarlet, but the rest of his body did not obey his commands. How can I, Matrox, a master of potions, be so poorly affected by one of my own creations? I made the petrification potion myself, but that foolish kid made the antidote. That dunce must have screwed up the formula royally. Well, at least I know it wasn't my mistake, but how long will I have to stay like this? I have a terrible itch behind my knee that I'm just dying to scratch. Okay, so he's an alchemist, and he petrified himself to avoid the madness, I guess. He told Matrox that there was only an empty hole at the location marked on the map. Impossible. Could someone have been following me? One of the elders? But if the instigator got his hands on it, we're all in deep, deep doo-doo. Matrox bit his lip, deep in thought. If you manage to get to me unscathed, you're probably pretty powerful. Looks like you're our only hope, kid. I sent you to find the key to the gate of Durango Kingdom Palace's Carlo Tower. It's a crystal orb, Matrox explained. The madness had spread before we even realized what was happening. Even our queen was powerless against it. She summoned everyone to hide in the palace and asked me to bring the magic equipment to her. However, it was too late. When I came back with it, the queen had built a magic formation with her own power to protect the castle. Unfortunately, without the proper equipment, the magical seal is only running at half strength. When I realized the palace was sealed up tight, I knew I'd never get in. I had no choice. I drank the petrification potion to avoid the infection. Even so, my mind feels a bit clouded, he sighed. It doesn't matter anymore. Please go to Carlo Tower and check out the situation. And be careful. Okay, Carlo Tower. I've heard the name. Okay. So, I don't know if this is just going to be a dungeon. Or rather just a questing. I wonder if it has some kind of a dungeon involvement. Okay. It looks like this is indeed a dungeon, but this doesn't look like much of a tower. This is just a normal building with a few pillars. But okay, I think we kind of just go around it. Let's see. What are these? Oh, those look like mutants. So this could be part of what we this looks like the mutants that might have been mentioned in the books from Hayward Seavale. That's interesting. So I guess this is where they all went after they vanished from Hayward Seavale. Maybe this is where they all came from in the first place as well. Okay. Now, how do we get back down? Hey buddy, good to see you. Okay. I, Matrox, am an elder of the Durango Kingdom. I also happen to be a trusted aide of our queen, Matrox confided. The Durango Kingdom once floated through the empty Everworld. Its citizens lived in relative peace. About 20 years ago, an outsider found us somehow. He told us he could bring the Durango Kingdom back to the real world. We call him the Instigator. I wonder if that's the Bane Prince. People were grateful. They'd always dreamed of seeing the real world. They did whatever they could to appease the man. Some went back to the real world with the instigator. Everyone dreamed of visiting this beautiful new frontier, a place we had only read about in fairy tales. As time went on, though, the Queen and her trusted aides started to suspect that the instigator had some other, more sinister motive. We investigated him, and boy, were we in for a surprise. The instigator took full control of us. He manipulated us. He had us right in the palm of his hand. So I assume this is the one who's taking control of them with Everworld energy. You briefly explained the current situation in the palace. The Bane Prince broke into the palace, and the power of destruction that sealed the gate shut. Yeah, so it is the Bane Prince. We'll never stop him now, Matrox groaned. You told him not to lose hope quite yet. You would help the Watchers get to the bottom of this. Then, the fate of the Durango Kingdom depends on you, he mumbled. We have to get into the palace and save the Queen. This is a keepsake from the Queen. If I cast a spell on it, you'll see what has happened to her. He gestured to the item with his chin. You pick it up. Bring the keepsake to a safe place near the palace, and focus all of your energies upon it. You shall then gain an understanding of what has happened within the castle walls. Whatever you see, it's in the past, it cannot be prevented. What you do next, though, the way you react to the images you've seen, will affect the future of the Durango Kingdom and the very fabric of our lives. Okay. Cutscene time. Let's see. Well, this is very upbeat music for what I feel is about to happen. But okay, Durango Queen. I'm not trying to look at the skirt, I'm trying to see her face. Okay. And this is Delilah. I think this was Lucius's mother, correct? When you focus your energy on the keepsake, you found yourself mentally transported inside the palace. Suddenly, you heard a voice in your ear. My queen, are you alright? A barbarian woman asked, a well-dressed, regal beauty who lay upon the ground. Colour drained from the queen's face as her eyelids flooded weakly. The burden of keeping up this barrier is too much for you. My queen, I wish I could help, she said, shaking her head sorrowfully. Elder Matrox didn't make it back in time. I hope he's okay, the barbarian woman continued. Please get some rest. We should be safe now. Perhaps when the madness fades, we can let down our defenses, and life won't be as it once was. This is all the instigator's fault. We fell for his beautiful, bewitching lies, wailed the barbarian woman. You looked around. You were inside the magic palace. Terror and sorrow hung heavy in the air around you. Delilah, I must have a look at the rest of my people, the queen managed weakly. Please, my queen, I beg you to rest, the barbarian woman named Delilah pleaded. No, this is all my fault. If only I had realized what the instigator was planning, the queen managed, closing her eyes. My queen, no, please don't blame yourself. Delilah began to cry. Here he is. The protagonist makes his entry, even though he's the villain. Oh goddamn. Are those swords coming out of her? Okay. Curious what this lumen stairway is that they're mentioning. Ah, and that's when he leaves to handle the chest by the looks of it. Interesting. Delilah fell to the ground, suddenly very pale. Traces of life began to drain from her body. The sparkle left her eyes, the gloss of her hair went dull. Her fingers barely twitched as she lay there. The elders exchanged looks of hopelessness and despair. You suddenly remembered that everything you were seeing was in the past. Durango Kingdom had already fallen. You thought about the lumen stairway. Nasha Adwam had mentioned it, and it seemed to be his last obstacle. Without it, the kingdom would cease to exist. According to the results of your investigation in the palace, Nasha Adwam was still near. The Queen didn't reveal the information he needed. It seemed there was still a chance to stop his evil scheme. You just had to rescue the Queen as soon as possible. While he searched the surrounding areas in an attempt to break the Bane Prince's seal, you heard the Queen muttering something. You turned to look at her. She seemed to feel your presence. You listened to her murmurs and realized it was a spell. You memorized it quickly, planning to report it back to Matrox word for word. Suddenly, you felt yourself pulling away from this world. It just began to blur before your eyes, and the Queen and her minions began to fade into mere, amorphous blobs of color. Okay, now back to Elder Matrox once more. You're back. I was so worried, exclaimed Matrox. Quick, tell me everything. You began to recount everything you saw and heard within the palace walls. Matrox began to weep softly as you spoke. It's all my fault. I didn't hide the key well enough. The instigator entered the palace so easily. He shook his head tearfully. But we cannot give up now. We must rescue the Queen as quickly as possible. I mean, this all could have been avoided pretty easily. Sure, they locked up the palace, but you had the key. You could have gone in, and that would have prevented it from going to outside hands anywhere. Analyze the Queen's spell. She was trying to get a message to us. I just know it. I got it. The Queen was trying to tell us how to break the seal to the gate. Matrox's eyes popped open. I have 2 pendants here. We can use them to communicate. Bring one to the front of the palace. Follow my instructions to destroy the Bane Prince's seal. Move quickly. We must rescue the Queen. Okay. Now, looks like it's time for the first dungeon of Durango Kingdom. Inside we go. You get the same music as before. Okay, so there's Duran. Looks like we've got 3 bosses. The second Michelangelo instead of Michelangelo. Okay. Interesting. I heard one of the Durango Kingdom dungeons was tiny, but this one looks bigger than I thought it would be. Let's see how we do. Okay, Eternal Children, finally I found you, Duran managed breathlessly. All of the surviving watchers have remained here. The situation at the campsite is under control. I came to help you as soon as I could leave. Geez, we've gone so long, we thought something had happened to you. So, what have you found? How can I help you? Duran asked rapidly. You told him you had to save the Queen. Got it. To save the Queen and Lucius, we will have to fight the Bane Prince, correct? Duran asked, hiding trepidation in his voice. So what are we waiting for? You've done the footwork. It's time to fight. Wait a second. Looks like something's written there, mumbled Duran, pointing at the ancient words carved on the wall of the entrance. You'd never seen the strange language before. If you want to see the Queen, you must visit Lone Light Hall, Nightglow Hall, and Flowing Crystal Hall to prove your worth. Otherwise, Duran squinted, translating as he went along, but he ended with a sigh. I can't make out the last 2 words, but it seems like we'll have to go to those 3 places to acquire the qualifications. We don't have much time, so we'd better get going. Alright. Let's do this. Well, I believe Duran went this way first, so let's go. Okay. First boss already, Yagi. Your trophy is a healing trophy. Okay. Let's go. Alright. 1 down. I guess we'll keep going along this way. Oh, you can walk on here. Cool. Glyphs. Okay, what are these glyphs on me? I guess they have something to do with the quest. Seven, okay. You have the tank trophy. Just seems like a clone of the other one, but with different damage. Okay, kill it before it kills you. Now, what's in the center here? Big old tree? And a big old crystal. It's always a crystal. And a pretty waterfall, too. Okay, I wonder if this will have something to do with the trial. If or when the trial comes out. Yeah, so far this map looks like it could be a bit awkward to run for dungeons, just because it kind of loops around a bit, and the mob density doesn't seem too great. This area seemed okay, but it was also pretty spread out. Nothing bad. Okay, we've got a couple more of these guys. Casual 91k. Yeah, this place gives me Final Fantasy vibes. We've got the crystal, we got the music. We've got the crazy over-the-top scenery. Okay. And you? Ah, okay, I understand. Okay, so that's a MDPS trophy, but unfortunately... it looks like... it's not a set bonus trophy. Now, the interesting thing will be as to whether this is the final boss, because there still seems like a lot of dungeon left. But since this is... Oh, okay, we just got like 1% XP for killing that boss. Okay, Eternal Children, I'm Oracle. Go call you character to me. Okay, that will be our Awaken quest. We'll do that after this. Okay, well that really is the end of the dungeon. I guess this was the short dungeon I heard about, even though all this other stuff is here. I wonder if this will all be safe for the trial? Because this seems like a lot. So you've got this giant arena here, and you've got that crystal tree thing. And then there's all those areas off to the side too, so there could be a lot that happens here. Okay. We finally got some of the level 80 materials. Demonized Heart and Everlasting Ashes. Well, I didn't think there would be quite so many monsters during Pit. That's not many, to be honest. And those mad Durango sorcerers, what could have transformed them into such horrible beasts? The more I think, the worse I feel. Did you get the qualification to see the Queen? I think it's some sort of magical admission. With these 3 qualifications, you can get closer to the throne. I probably can't go any further with you. I can feel the spirit of madness in the air. It's all I can do to prevent it from making my own Durango blood boil. Okay, so you are indeed descended from Durango. I'm not sure how much longer I can hold out before I go insane. The crazed energy proves that the Bane Prince is not far away. We're depending on you to rescue the Queen and Lucius. But please be careful. If things get too hairy, get out of there. You're our last hope. We can't have you dying off immediately, now can we? He asked with a brutal, forced laugh. If you're ready, get going. I'll wait here for your return. The power of the maddening energy is immense. Even the chest won't be able to resist very long. Please move quickly. I truly wish I could hold more. There is Lucius under control. Okay, I don't think we can fight here. Yeah. And he will conveniently regain control. Oh, okay. Ianophilos power, you'll all beg for mercy. Okay, so blue crystal power, and apparently Bane Prince uses it as well. Now we can finally see your face properly. I have no idea why you're flying, but hey, you look cool. We met not long ago, didn't we? Are you here to help us? The Durango Queen managed weakly. You briefly explained how you'd come to the floating continent. You told her what you'd done after meeting Elder Matrox. She sighed deeply. I could feel your presence. I knew it. I cannot lie, the situation is dire, but maybe, just maybe, fate brought you here for a reason. The people you see here are likely the last ones, the final survivors of the wave of madness, the Queen whispered sadly. My heart has been torn to pieces, but there are still survivors. We cannot give up just yet. We must fight with our final breath. The detestable instigator, Dasha Adwin. He must pay for what he has done. A look of cold hatred washed over the Queen's face. Dasha Adwin has been to the Holy Land of Durango. We still have time to stop this sinister instigator's scheme, the Queen explained, her hands shaking. You have much to learn before you go after him. You must know your enemy before you hope to defeat him. First, though, I have to bring my people and your Watcher friends to Durango. There, I can help cleanse the madness from their minds. She managed a small smile and drew a magic mark on you. You can use this teleportation room to teleport from the southwest of this land to Durango. I'll tell you everything you should know there. Interesting. Okay. So are we not fully at Durango yet? I'm not sure what they mean by that. Okay. Let's head out. We'll finish this little quest line first. and then we'll grab our Awaken class. Actually, I'm thinking... we got Portal Stones, let's just do it now quickly. And yes, we will be doing Cleric. Not that we have many options. Hello, Yukari. Oh dear, luckily I made it at the last minute, otherwise I would have failed the Super Temple Ranger test again. Let's see, now I know... okay. I've really seen and learned a lot in the Temple Ranger test this time. Turns out that my duty is not just combat. I should use the unique ability that the Temple Rangers have to do more meaningful things. Speaking of which, I actually have lots of requests from my friends. Would you mind taking care of them? Okay. And here we go. So we had to pay 1,000 gold for the Cleric quest. We'll clean our inventory while we're here. I'm not going to need these. I'm probably not going to use those. Okay. You open the letter and read the following. Dear Yukari, recently something extraordinary happened to a few geologists in Delphi Forest. They entered a temple. Inside, the air was so stuffy they could hardly breathe, but they forged their way deeper and deeper into the temple and eventually passed out. They woke up outside, and when they tried to find the temple, they came up empty-handed. What's more, the map of Delphi Forest shows no sign of a strange temple. I'd like to entreat the help of Zephyrinus to see whether a mysterious power has entered this area. Okay. Channel 1 lag as always. Let's see what Big Frog has to say. Big Frog Pope. Theron, what are you doing here? From that look in your eyes, it must be something urgent, right? Well, cough it up. I see. It would seem that this spot really does cradle some sort of unknown power. We can't eliminate the possibility that there's a strange creature prowling around Delphi Forest. Let me think. From just this information, I can't come to any conclusions. Ah, I've remembered. Dr. Aura of Snake Belly Jungle stumbled across something in her travels through Delphi Forest. I've the impression that she had something about a temple and a well that certainly didn't belong in Delphi Forest. Eternal Children, could you ask her to elaborate? At the moment, I have other fish to fry. Okay, Snake Belly Jungle. I wonder if they mean Viper's Forest. Good old EE translations. Okay, was our guess correct? Indeed it was. Long time no see. All well? How come you have the time to come here? Has something happened? Zephyrus has sent you to ask about this. To be honest, I'm also not so sure of what happened. I only remember that while out exploring, a cloud of fog appeared before me. Logically speaking, there should have been no fog in that area, but as I proceeded forward, the surroundings revealed a temple. It was as if I had travelled through space and time. My curiosity got the better of me, and I started poking around. Eventually, I found a switch. When I pressed down on it, a huge stone popped out up ahead and started to roll towards me. I was terrified. I was petrified. When I turned around to flee, I blacked out. When I recovered consciousness, I was at the entrance to the village in Delphi Forest. That's right, it was the psychic Jasmine that saved me. I've heard she's currently residing in Cyclone Basin. Maybe she'll know something about what happened. Okay, so now we go to Cyclone Basin, which is conveniently just here. Hello, Farron. I knew you'd come looking for me. After all, the same thing has happened to many people. What's more, it's possible the riddle can only be solved by an eternal children like you. Though I don't know what happened to Dr. Aura inside the temple, I can tell you that when we entered Delphi Forest, I heard a voice groaning. Before long, Dr. Aura had disappeared from sight. I was worried it had something to do with the voice, so I followed it to its source to find Dr. Aura. I found the voice was coming from the spot where Dr. Aura was. He must have encountered a fragment of space-time. Without further thought, I took Dr. Aura back home. To be honest, if that place's barrier hadn't been so weak, I wouldn't have been able to find a trace of Dr. Aura. Looking back now, that voice actually sounded quite warm. I wonder if the owner of that voice wanted someone to help him, given that the barrier at that place was exceptionally weak at that time. To confirm this suspicion, I tried to enter that place again, but I was driven out by a powerful magic force just as I was about to step inside. Farron, would you join me in searching that place once more? With the power of purification within you, combined with the ethereal thoughts left by the lost servant's ghost, you should be able to continue deeper in search of the voice's owner. Now, Devastation Realm. Okay. So that is where we go next. All the way to the other side of Devastation. Alrighty, and here we are. Somewhat thank you. But okay. And get a little look here at the entrance to Devastation Dimension as well. We will check that out tomorrow, once it's released. Tell you what, I should have bound my soul while I was there, but hey. Okay. Back to Cyclone Basin. How's the collecting going? Just now, when I was trying to find the place, I found that the barrier wavered between being strong and weak, as if it were poised to disappear. We'll have to pick up the pace collecting ethereal thoughts, Jasmine says nervously. This is it. First, I'll inject magic, then I'll use it to strengthen my will. Mr. Voice, hold out a wee bit longer. We'll be there soon. I'm almost ready on my end, so have you mentally prepared yourself to enter? You must possess the power of purification to enter, so let's set off. By the way, in order for you to move freely, I must focus intently on reinforcing the barrier, so I can't accompany you to find the owner of that voice. Please be careful. Okay. Here we are. A lot of interesting stuff goes on inside of Delphi Temple. This is also where we had the Dragon Knight quest for some of it. Okay, so we're playing a game of The Floor is Lava. Yeah, okay, this is going to be awkward. It's really easy to go this way. Okay, can you not jump over it? So I had to awkwardly run through this very poorly spaced maze. Oh no, a moving part. Anyway. So we're gonna have to wait for that. There we go. Oh, okay, good, I made it through. And of course, a dragon soul. All the traps in the labyrinth. The celestial dragon, this ain't One Piece. The identity of the dragon. The button heavily inscribed with characters may trigger something when pressed. So we know he's a celestial dragon. That was the only one that looked like a name, so I'm just assuming it's correct. Okay, I was wrong. I'm just gonna do this. So there are letters on the pillars on either side. Do we have to like physically look at these pillars? Or is it just more bullshit? Okay, well I'm pretty sure Celestial Dragon's gonna be right. Oh, well he did say he was a Judgment Dragon. That makes sense, but that's not really a name. You're Indestructible bones. I mean, they're pretty small bones. They look oddly like human bones, but okay. This is just a game of pick and choose. Orange at the largest bones of yours. I mean, that's not really saying much. Probably better off going through them one by one, if anything. A healing cleric. Oh, your name's Jiro. Okay, well, luckily we got a head start before he got attacked because we figured what would happen. Okay. I'm the celestial dragon that protects this temple. I'm responsible for absorbing the temple aura to prevent humans from coming under its influence, but I've been cursed. Take a look around. When you want to leave, I'll give you something by way of reward. Okay, well, what about good old Scours? I've honestly forgotten what the dragon in there is called. Now I'm curious and want to know. Let's see. Scours. Toys, that's it. Let's go. Okay. Now we go back to Avon. And then once we get the Awakened Cleric, we can resume the Durango questline. Finally back. What? You've already dealt with it. Okay, cool. Checking out the Awakened class. This won't take too long. We'll start making our way back to Durango in the meanwhile. Okay, I did that for memes, don't mind it. Green classes. My technical main classes that I don't really play anymore, because I don't have glyphs, and my physical sets are bad. Okay. Here we go. I should technically do this, because it gives you evasion. Okay. Yeah, we can see all the new skills we're getting from the Awakened Cleric as well. just scrolling, popping up on the screen. Okay, now let's check it out. So we'll finish maxing these. And now we can swap to Adjudicator and Equilibrium. So I believe Adjudicator is the healing cleric. Now we get to play the fun game of setting up all of our hotbars again. So I'll whack these down with our buffs. Okay, we still want strategic retreat, we want snub, we want revive, we want probably a cure, shock and tornado still. Okay, so let's check them out. Purification water removes a random negative effect from each party member within 50 meters. Increases AP healing plus 20% for 12 seconds. So basically, purifying wind, but now it's called water. So, what's the difference? It's technically worse. Increases healing effect by 20% over 20 seconds. Versus P healing 20% for 12 seconds. Okay, interesting. I guess P healing would scale worse, technically, but that's a 1.5 second cast. Yeah, no, they're both the same. Okay. Insight grants party members within 50 meters insight state decreasing damage received by 40% and recovering plus 3% of max HP every second. What the fuck? Okay, well, that is busted. Let's see. Sacred Grace, that's a buff. We'll look at the buffs in a moment. Light of Truth. Heals all party member. No, we'll do it now. Sacred Grace Heal increases max HP and AP 15% and also increases max HP and AP by a base 410. Also increases Wiz, Int, and Luck. Yeah, so it's basically like multiple of the regular cleric buffs in one, which is convenient. Because it gives more room to have skills for, that do other things. Okay, Light of Truth heals all party members within 25 meters of target's location for 3,300 HP. Grants Light of Truth state for 5 seconds. Targets with 5 stacks of Light of Truth will be healed plus 5% of max HP. Interesting. Let me see how that works. Okay, so it's just a regular stacking thing. Targets with 5 stacks, but it looks like it triggers on 3. So every third heal, you do a shit ton more healing. Okay. Increases cast speed plus 210, increases wisdom and luck, removes a random negative effect from caster every 2 seconds. Okay. So that's a... Wow, so that's a 5-second downtime where you just instantly purge negative effects constantly while increasing your stats. So that is like 5% M crit. And 7% cast speed, while also increasing healing done. Power Infusion heals a target for that every second, increases target's defense, holy, nature, and dark resistances. And that looks like it's only a single stack this time. Oh, never mind. It does still stack, but only twice. Okay. But it looks like only the heal stacks. Yeah. Cool. Well, it's probably more useful for the resistances and whatnot than the actual heal over time. Instantly heals. Okay, so that's just improvements and replacements for all of the base healing abilities. Received undamaged negative 10%. Increases cast speed 25% when equipped with a mace, guitar, or grimoire. Okay, so it looks like you can actually choose a weapon other than mace. So healing grimoires are finally relevant. Received M damage negative 10%, that's just solid. And we do get new class outfits at 80, but I like that one. Okay, Dragon Stars increases M attack by 20,000. Is that multi-hit? Increases M attack 20,000, deals holy damage to all enemies, increases their magic damage received by 1%, stacking up. Okay, so it can increase it by up to 15% while also stunning for 3 seconds. Well, okay. Just a better version of Smite. Then Judgment Strike grants M attack, dealing holy damage to target, decreases all resistances by negative 10%. Goddamn. So that is an AoE, not single target. So it hits everyone. Well, it's just like a direct upgrade for every skill in every capacitor. These two are kind of the new skills here. So these are the two we got in exchange for replacing 2 of the buffs. So Insight. That's just goaded, so you want to be able to use that quickly if you need to. And then this is just like a convenient buff that gives you like everything. So we'll just whack that there. But yeah, okay. Now let's check out the KP and certs. So I don't think we get new certs for awakened classes. But it looks like the KP are very similar. Okay, your Insight now recovers 5% HP every second and decreases damage taken by 50% and lasts additional 3 seconds. So that is this one. So it's an extra 2% HP per second, an extra 10% on the damage reduction. And yeah, it reduces the downtime. That's definitely good. Cast speed goes into additional effects to Sacred Graces, into Wizard Luck granted by Sacred Graces plus 20%. The skill grants 25% max HP and MP, so an additional 10% HP. I think we want that just for that 10% HP more than anything, because that goes from 27,000 to over 28,000, so that's easily plus 1k. Plus 1k HP. So one thing I want to test here. So that was 0.07 into 0.010. Does that Okay, so they have separate XP. And it's short switch between the same subclass, which is good. Okay, so in that case, how we're gonna build our Cleric, since I'm not really a healer or anything anymore, and I'm not going to be playing actively out of this cup, I'm just gonna go for whatever fancy stuff I feel like. So we're gonna get the shield defense so we can get the Dragon of Stars damage. So since you do still get the shield defense and whatnot, I'm assuming Mace and Shield is still going to be best to heal with. Relics of Light grant plus 10% additional Wiz Lock and cast speed and lasts 5 seconds longer. Okay, so that is interesting, because while the Wisdom Luck and cast speed plus 10% probably isn't as much as it seems like, because that's only like 20 cast speed and an additional 14 Wisdom and Luck. The real good thing about that is the duration plus 5 seconds, because it means you can keep Relic of Life up full time with no downtime. So while you do get the reduction in balance, which is probably more or less irrelevant, just being able to like permanently have that up seems pretty busted. Okay, for each level up, Healing of Light, Light of Truth plus 4%, so that is your main heal now for Awakened Thing. So if you are going to be doing Awakened Cleric healing, you probably want to invest in that. And then this one is your Power Infusion now recovers 8% of HP every second and lasts 3 seconds longer. And that is this one. That's just Wisdom. Healing of Holy Fire. That's that one. Cooldown of Judgment Strike reduced by 0.5 seconds. So that is nice. Probably don't really need it. Because if anything, you're going to be spamming Dragon Stars for the stun regardless. Yeah, okay, for the rest of the KP, you got two Wisdom ones now. Interesting. You honestly might be better off stacking Wisdom than G heal, especially if you're doing a crit healer build, because then you won't have any G heal as a crit healer anyway. Okay. We got 38 points left. I'm not really going to have any troubles getting the stats. So what we probably want to do is go for these increase in abilities. So I think this one's very good. Negative 50% damage taken and 5% HP. Because it'll help the Glass Cannon DPS actually survive for once. So we will invest in the M crit, sadly. Yeah, that gives us a 6% M crit. And that'll put us up to 90%. Okay, Sacred Grace alone gives us 15% M crit. That's crazy. Okay, so we can get that. Then Power Infusion. 8% of HP every second and lasts 3 seconds longer. This actually makes healing over time viable. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, because like up until this point, especially since you had to stack your healing over time, it became pretty much irrelevant. But now not only does it increase these resistances, but it recovers max HP. So we are gonna do that. Okay, 16 points left. Again, we don't care about that one. Healing of Light of Truth. Yeah. Even though we're not technically a healer, we are going to want that. And then we have 6 points left, which we can invest 5 into for the wisdom. I think that's the best way to go about it. And from there, yeah, I guess you just dump the rest of your points in wisdom. Cool. Alright, so that's... so we don't need any more M-crit off the bat. So we're going to build a little more tanky. So we're going to get received M-crit. We'll probably do the elemental resistances. Apart from that, generally, we're going to boost our M-crit damage to get that up. Again, I probably might not need that if I had glyphs on, but I don't, so... and finally, generally, a normal cleric would probably want to get the wisdom, but we're going to go with cast speed, just to help out with that, since again, no glyphs and we're using DPS stuff instead of healing stuff. Yeah, you probably want the wisdom instead of cast speed if you were using actual healing armor, because that would give you ball-based cast speed. Okay, now outside of that, we are probably going to want to build somewhat defensive, but we're also going to want this to get our crit damage up to 300%, just for the sake of my own satisfaction. Don't actually need that, obviously, that's just kind of there because then we're going to have the reduce all damage taken. And outside of that, I think our cast speed's at a good point. We can pretty much use these on cycle. It doesn't need to be perfect. Ideally, you'd probably want slightly more than what I have. But hey, it is what it is. So now, what we're going to do instead is we're just going to do... Well, we could do the cast speed here. That'll give us the N. That does feel a little bit smoother. Doesn't feel vital. So we might just do plus M attack. 5k M attack? That's okay. Oop. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty solid. Obviously, again, I haven't built this as a proper healer, so don't mind the weird combo there. Now, let's check out Equilibrium. God damn it, I have to wait for, No, I don't. Okay. Equilibrium. Let's go. So, we'll grab these randomly. Tornado, Nerve Shock, Snub. Let's see. We'll put on a couple bus and our teleports. I forgot what order I like having these in. There we go. Okay. Now... You're gonna die again. Okay. Let's check out these ones. So we've got Shadowy Light, Heavenly Light, Hallowed Realm. These are the level 1 spells. Decreases caster's damage received by a negative 90% for 5 seconds. What? When Heavenly Light is active, recovers 8% HP per second. When Shadow Light is active, your caster becomes invisible and caster's move speed increases. Okay, well, balance. Seems like we're working with a lot here. Heaven in Fire. Heavenly Light. Okay, let's look at these. Heavenly Light converts all casters' damage dealt into holy damage and grants the following skills. Additional effects. Holy Blessing, Silent Sickle, Divine Circle, Helodrome, and Fire. Okay, so these two look like they're going to be the new ones. So we're going to hold off doing anything with those for now. Inner Fire increases energy and luck of party members and grants them move speed. Okay, so that's our new buff. But if we have Heavenly Light, that increases agility more and gives more move speed, whereas the other one gives more luck. So you're either doing more crit or more cast speed and movement speed. Okay, at its base, 15% is already pretty good. But that is only a 30-second buff. I see, that's different. Because those are a lot of stats. So it lasts 30 seconds, and it has a 45-second cooldown. We'll get back to that in a while. Scriptures of Despair. Grants some attack. Strikes all enemies within 50 meters of target's location, dealing dark damage. Inflicts additional dark damage every second upon enemy struck. And yeah, okay, that decreases accuracy. So that is... Wait. What was with that damage over time? $9k damage a second? What? That's a lot. Okay. 1759 dark damage ends up scaling to 9k. I wonder what that's based on. Is that M attack? Is damage over time useful now? Okay. That doesn't last very long. Okay, so it looks like Equilibrium has a lot of new different skills. Okay, Silent Sickle, increase some attack and deals dark damage to all enemies within 20 meters of target's location. 30% chance to stun. And this one. Okay. So, unlike Smite, we no longer have access to a targeted AoE on the ground. This is now like single target attacking, and then it does an AoE around it. Okay, interesting. And then Holy Blessing. What's this one do? Increases magic attack and deals holy damage to hostile targets within 15 meters. Okay, within 15 meters of the target. And this is the triple hit, I believe. Also reduces their Holy Light and Dark resistance by 13, which can stack up to 2 times, so we can instantly decrease Holy resistance by 26, which removes all damage reduction I have. That's okay. Okay. So that's what you want to spam. Additionally, the cast against the Holy Light enhancement status, which increases their M attack value by 8%, which stacks. So if we look at our M attack, well, we get 8k M attack just from using that ability. Under the effect of Heavenly Light, the damage is increased to deal 3 times holy damage. The Holy Light enchantment status cannot coexist with the status. Shadow enchantment status. Okay, so it looks like this one doesn't get a bonus from Shadow. And the AoE isn't very big. Oh damn, why is my healing so low? Okay, I wasn't critting. That's fine. Okay, well, this is definitely a bit more complex than the other one. And it looks like there's no real, like, long-term buff anymore, from what I can see. To even one Earthshock. Okay, interesting. So we want to spam this while also spamming this and this pretty much. So this one gets no bonus from anything, but it doesn't need one. So probably want to... If we do that twice, will that increase that, the damage over time? God damn, that goes up to like 17, 15k a second, so it definitely looks like M attack affects that. That's pretty crazy. So you'd want to stack that first twice, then use scriptures to the spare. It gives you the increase in M attack and while also decreasing the resistance. And this one you'd want to use for the stun. So get it out, get them down, stun them. Okay. When the Shadowy Light is active, decreases target's attack or gives the 70% chance to stun. Okay, and these do the holy and light damage. Interesting. Okay. So these two are also kind of new. Okay, grants party members within 50 meters Divine Circle State, increasing their defense and increases all elemental resistance. When Heavenly Light is active, increases M attack. Goddamn. Okay, so that gets even higher than it already was. That's fair. It looks like you pretty much want to keep Heavenly Light up more than Shadowy Light, to be honest. And fire increases those, as we said. Yeah, because since it won't be difficult to get our crit up, So if we have Heavenly Light, that'll give us 64 to 69. And then we do... I think I'll keep the R there, because it needs to be a cooldown. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we killed these mobs a bit too quickly, so I can't really test what I want to test here. But yeah, it looks like we want to do a Heavenly Light into Divine Circle, stack Holy Blessing twice. But unfortunately, I kill it before I can see the damage over time effectiveness. Okay. Yeah, because that's what I really want to see, the effectiveness of the damage over time. So let's just do it to something else. It's gone down, but that's because I didn't decrease the resistance. The buff doesn't last very long. Oh, interesting. How long does this last? 15 seconds, yeah. Okay, well that's pretty busted. What the hell are they doing? Anyway. So, Heavenly Light, and then we want to keep these up. Okay. Cool, well I think I've got a somewhat okay grasp of that for now. I mean, we'll keep Earthshock on the bar for the rare nature damage, but yeah, that is pretty crazy. And I guess we should also keep Prevention now too, because we don't have Purifying Wind anymore. Just in case we need it on occasion. But okay. Well, that seems like it has an insane capacity for damage output. I'm actually going to run around as Adjudicator for now. Wait, we do still have to go over the Equilibrium certs and talents. So, for each level damage of Silence Sickle. Okay, I think that one is the Stun. Then we've got damage of Holy Blessing. That is your triple hit, so you definitely want these 10 points in cast speed. That's 20% damage, god damn. Duration of Inner Fire, plus 1 second each. Okay, so that affects all party members, which is pretty good. So that ends up being only 10 seconds of downtime. We might look into that. Heavenly Light grants 10% additional defense and cast speed, so that is... Does that increase our defense and cast speed when it's up? Because it does not say that it does. defense and cast speed. Is that when it's triggered with other... I'm guessing that's when it's used with Divine Circle and Inner Fire, rather than being Heavenly Light on its own. Yeah, because that's not triggering anything there. For each level up, M-crit and M-crit damage, okay. Scriptures of Despair, duration plus 1 second each, okay. Never thought I'd see the day where I'd think that investing in a damage over time effect would be useful, but as you saw, that was doing like 15k damage a second. So that's like an additional 45k damage easily. Like, and that also keeps the accuracy reduction, so we do want that. Your Shadow Light grants plus 7% additional M attack and block, so similar to Heavenly Light, that doesn't affect your base M attack or block. So what that's going to do is affect other moves. The problem with that is none of these moves contain information on the tooltips which that would affect. So unfortunately, I'm not really able to verify how good that is. But yeah, it's could be similar to Sage, and some of these tooltips are incomplete, and you might have to look at the actual bus to learn more about them. But I mean, yeah, there's not much we can do if it doesn't tell us, and I'm not gonna waste too much time going around checking each and every single thing individually one by one. Okay, duration of Hallowed Realm plus 1 second. So I think I did forget to put all of the abilities on our bar. So Hallowed Realm is decrease all your damage by infinity. That's a 40-second cooldown, 5-second duration, so that just lets you use it for 10 seconds. That's definitely more of a PvP thing, if anything. So it's probably not going to be for me. This one, cooldown of Divine Circle, -1 second. Divine Circle is this one here, 30-second cooldown. Second cooldown, so that'll make it 25-second cooldown. And what was that duration? We'll check that quickly. Okay, that's like 15 seconds or whatever it was. Okay, it looks like Shadowy Light and Heavenly Light are pretty much up full time at least. So we don't have to worry about those. They're like our new bus, I guess. Okay. Yeah, 15 seconds. Although that other effect is 20 seconds. Interesting. Okay, that'd be 5-second downtime on the. That's a plus 20% up there. Yeah, that was no 15%. That's fine. Because so that ends up being 5 seconds downtime for that. So that's probably what you would mostly want it for, I imagine, if those other effects last longer. Again, crit damage and M-crit damage aren't really hard to get, so you probably shouldn't be depending on Shadowy Light to get that crit damage and crit chance. Especially because most of these moves work better with the Holy Light Blessing, the Heavenly Light Blessing, rather than Shadowy Light anyway. Okay, so that, I don't think it's really worth that. Definitely worth the PvP. Meh. Again, that's not the base, I believe. Unless it is. Maybe it just makes it so Shadowy Light grants that by default. In that case, that would be plus a percent defense and cast speed by default. If you're using a shield, that'll be very useful, but it's not going to do a lot to a cloth for defense on its own, and cast speed, again, you should be able to get anyway, so I'm going to hold off on that. Again, in a fire. Okay, well, it looks like a lot of what we kind of get access to, we don't really need overly. So we might as well just put points in this for the sake of having them. I mean, that's 20% move speed. So that goes up to 38%, and then we get in a fire, which pushes up to 58% move speed. That's pretty nifty. I'm just doing that for fun. This might not necessarily be the best build, it's just the one I'm going to go with. Apart from that, if you're using, let's see, mace, guitar, staff, or grimoire, okay, and attack increased by 15%, magic crit increased by 10%. So you're probably going to want the staff on most of the time, just for the higher attack. Although you could go with... You could go mace build with shield and more damage on silent sickle for the stun if you want to be like more of a smite cleric than a DPS cleric. That's probably the way to go for PvP. And then staff is probably more like PvE DPS. Although, again, just because of the ridiculous damage output of awakened classes and the limited takiness for players to verse it, you can just as easily shred people with 2 hits with this thing anyway. Okay, so we've got 25 points left. But again, I don't really care about a lot of this other stuff. We might as well just lean into anything that Holy Blessing will stack well with. So those, we don't want to worry about that. Obviously not. Crit damage, crit rate, we don't really need. So yeah, it literally is just these ones down here. Okay, we'll do it. Let's just test how it works. So, is this going to instantly improve our stats? So, defense and cast speed. Okay, yeah, it looks like that does affect just by keeping it up passively. So that's a passive plus 10% defense and cast speed. So again, since we are clothy, it's not going to do much unless you have a shield, but the cast speed is nice. MP, of course, don't need to worry about it all. Okay, in that case, we might as well do Inner Fire, just because. We had nothing else to really spend on. Okay, cool. Now, in that case... certs. So we're gonna want 4 green, probably. So luck, accuracy, more move speed, and double hit. Okay. And now, let's finish going over our stats. So we are going to want M attack. And then we are going to want probably crit damage. We'll do blue for that because we don't want free purples because then we don't really get any bonus from it. So that's 75k M attack on bloody Cleric. I guess outside of that, we could do crit rate, or we could just do negative 20% M crit damage. We'll do crit rate for the plus and 2%. Even though that's jack shit, but 85% M crit's better, especially since we don't really have a buff, like a full-term, long-time buff that gives us M crit now. Okay, but there we go. Yeah, no, that's pretty much the last what I needed to go over for the Awakens, but god damn, this is nutty. So now that I've got those certs in, we are gonna end up with 100k M attack, just like that. And that's not even doing with Defined Circle. So now, this is busted. Okay, give me one moment here. I'm just gonna do something real quick. I won't be too long here. Okay. And we should be good to keep going. Let's see. Okay, well, it looks like we've got a wedding to go to. So we will do that quickly. Don't mind the divergence. Okay, let's see. 3 minutes to go. I'll go whack one on my bank. Okay. So, by tradition, I always keep a wedding invitation. I've probably gotten 5 of silvers now, but I've got a lot of them on an alt, so don't mind them missing from my bank for now. But let's see. Okay. Shouldn't be too long. Sorry for all the random interruptions for the Durango Kingdom quest, because that was what today was meant to be about, but hey, we'll finish him off after. Let's see. 1 minute to go. Well, in the meantime, I'm gonna hydrate. Okay, well, the server's infamous big #1 bear getting married to my random little guildie here. She's pretty quiet, so she's probably not going to tell anyone. But no, she's cool. Oh. But okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's go over Silver's wedding. First was his alt, then there was Sarah, then there was Lucy, then there was Princess Lollipop. Then he coupled Anissa, but I don't think he married Anissa, so I think this is his 5th wedding. Okay, here we are. Hi, Luna. Let's see if she says anything. Now, every time I go to a wedding, I try to get the one dress. Okay. There we go. This one looks cool. Alright, is anyone Gonna be here for the wedding apart from me. Yes, I'm not fully sure if the 72 skills are unusable with Awaken, but that's what I was told and that's what I heard. Luna did send me one. That's good. I'll save that one too. We'll give that one to Cherry, since I had free. Okay. Silver's 5th wedding. Let's hope for the best. Is it gonna be me and Cherry and no one else? Okay. Yeah, I mean, from that little playtest we had of Awakened Cleric Equilibrium, it seems bodily nested. I mean, nuttily busted. That was not intentional, but hey, that's what came out of my mouth. Hey, there she is. We got a second. Okay. Your final wedding, Silver. I hope. Yeah, very, very curious what they'll do with DD. The most random couple that I thought would never happen. So Silver was actually telling me how he ended up coupling Luna. Apparently, he saw her AFK somewhere, ran up to her, coupled her, and he accepted, and that was it. That is how love and weddings are born. Here we are, hopefully, for the last time. I think 5 wives are enough. Legendary costume for 15k. It's crazy how much in price a lot of legendaries and cosmetics and whatnot have gone down lately. I think at peak people were selling them for like 70, 80k, and now even though ECs are still like 1.5 to 1.7k, yeah, people are just selling these cosmetics are super cheap now. I like to think it's mostly because of the drop-in players where the wealthier players are just trying to help out other ones. But yeah, I don't think Luna has ever actually really spoken to anyone in this game very much, apart from me on occasion when I've dragged her around to trials, but hey, hopefully hopefully Silver's getting some company in couple chat. Yeah, this reminds me of the the wedding stream I did for my wedding. We've got 2 guests here today. I think mine had close to 100 people. It's pretty crazy, and that was only 3 or 4 weeks ago as well, if that. Yeah, 20k for legendary wings. How times have changed. Here we go, it's time for the vows. Damn, I keep forgetting it blocks out 5th, but there we go. Big Bear, let this be the one. But yeah, originally today I was hoping to do the anecdotes and the multi-dungeons and maybe the world boss for Durango Kingdom as well. But yeah, probably not gonna have time to finish them off today, but that's okay because it lets me do them another time. Happy wedding indeed. Look at these fireworks and balloons. Let's not meet back here again under the same circumstances. Be small bear. Let's let this be last. I think I've been to every one of Silver's weddings except the one where he married his ult. Okay. But yeah, I kind of like what they did with the gems in Sky Tower. How they require the different component gems to be able to make, because now all these random gems like Meta Match and Meta Plus are actually getting a use out of them. And here we go. What will we get today? Another world? Cool. Well, if anyone has anything they want me to say in world, feel free to say it in chat and I'll say whatever the hell you want. Yeah, looks like that might be it. I'll save that for later. Okay, well, let's get the ball rolling once more. We'll just pull stone back this time. Okay, we cannot pull the stone back this time. Maybe we can when we leave the wedding island. Okay, I want to finish up these quests now if I can. So hopefully we'll get them done within the next hour or so. Yeah, it's nice to see Equilibrium has options available to it apart from just smite, smite, smite. There we go. Okay, so now we are on the northwest side of the island, so that's just west from the palace, and I believe we just go through this little portal here. So let's do that. Okay, and so these two islands looked like they were separate. And you get here through that little portal we went through. So you are the world boss here. Holy Lightning and Pierce. Good to see we can use Equilibrium for you. When damage is dealt, fallen will be inflicted for 15 seconds. It decreases all cause damage by 1%. God damn it, this looks like the same as the Eloise Plains boss in terms of bullshittery. So your trophy, the affecting range of the Luminary Skill Blinding Gory increases, and Knight's Magic Blockade duration increases. Well, have fun with that one, Knights. And okay. Run speed and attack speed. That's funny. Okay. M attack 34k. Dark damage, okay. Summons an energy gap. Doing 5,000 points. Teleport stuck within 60 feet. Okay, so the abilities don't look that bad off the top of the head. This guy doesn't look like he would be as tanky or as annoying to kill as the other one at least, but that passive is really stupid. Oh wait, received damage increases. Okay, well, the translations in this game are shit, so it's hard to say what that means until we actually hit it, but maybe that'll make it easier to kill than I thought. Alrighty, let's finish off these quests. I got more of these matangs that we saw inside of the dungeon. Yeah, we're back to one-shotting things again with our awakened classes. They really are busted. Okay, hello Fairy Queen. Why did you take Jerry's job from her? Holy Guards once lived in the small cabins, but they had become the survivors' homes. Durango people and watchers alike, including an unconsciously chest, were housed here. Sadness and despair hung heavily in the air. Though they didn't want to believe all was lost, it was hard to maintain any semblance of hope. The Queen turned to you, attempting to mask the sorrow painted upon her lovely face. I heard the Watchers call you eternal children. Is that who you are? She asked softly. Well, eternal children, I'm certainly glad you're on our side. The Durango people will survive this. You saved us from utter extinction, and for that I cannot thank you enough. Everything that transpired happened because I wished to come back to the real world. I was so selfish. If I'd left things as they were, this never would have happened. She hung her head. The Durango people surrounded her in an attempt to comfort her. You understood her anguish, but you also knew that the Bane Prince had manipulated her and her people, turning their dreams into nightmares. It wasn't the Queen's fault. We truly believed Dasha Adwam could bring the Durango kingdom back from the Everworld. He manipulated us, told us we could stop wandering in the darkness, that our children could feel warm sunlight on their faces. We couldn't help but believe him. We wanted to believe so badly. We were blinded. We became mere puppets in his evil scheme. And when he finally showed his true colors, it was too late. The Queen shook her head sadly. Suddenly, you heard a pain groan outside. She winced. This madness is still torturing my people. I cannot let them perish like that. Eternal children, please help me cure our affected citizens. You must gather flawless gems from near the hallowed prayer altar. We can use them to draw the madness from the affected people's minds. Okay. So that is just back down here. Nothing too crazy. I did forget to put my mount on my hotbar. That looks neat. Okay. After healing the wounded, you notice that the Queen appeared exhausted. Dark violet circles underlined her eyes, and her eyelids dropped. Suddenly, you remember Luchesse, who was still unconscious. You wondered if the Bane Prince's manipulation had a permanent effect on him. The Queen met your eyes. She seemed to read your mind, and she shook her head no. You felt a heavy weight lifting from your shoulders. Most of the people here will be just fine. The flawless gems will release the madness from their minds. As for Luchesse, regardless of the Bane Prince's torture, he will also survive. He is much stronger than you might give him credit for. His strong will to live will overcome the mental anguish, though he may take longer than the others to recover fully. So much suffering, and all for what? After you had attended to the injured, you asked the Queen how you could repair the equipment that caused the island to float. She considered your question, biting her lip. After a long pause, a transparent crystal orb bathed in a white halo appeared in her hand. Take this with you. It can guide the Everworld power. Normally, we use it to keep our continent hovering. If you can pull the Everworld power from my people, you can use the energy to make the island float. However, I fear that without the Everworld power in their veins, the citizens may succumb permanently to insanity, and perhaps become monsters in the process. Unfortunately, this is the only way. I fear some must be sacrificed for the sake of our future. Please recharge the crystal orb, then bring it back to me. And please bring peace to those citizens we cannot save. That's pretty heavy responsibility she's handing off here. Hey, go drain the life force from my people to stop our continent smashing into the ground. Okay, now, what is this sage stone on the map? That looks like it could be an anecdote thing, or something else, who knows. Maybe that's how we get back over to the island. No, okay, the portal is still here. Okay. Now, how do we get back up? Guess we go around this way? Yeah. And here we go. With the crazy status. So it can't just be any of them? There we go. Okay, so we are just doing it to the the thingos. So not the friendly NPCs, only the enemy NPCs. How many of these do we need to get? God damn. The problem with the hotbar is I can't heal myself now. So I've got to keep moving before they catch me. Okay, 3 more. There we go. Now, back up we go. I'm just going to portal stone because that's an annoying walk. Okay. The Queen ordered surviving Durango people to keep working. She could not allow them to wallow in their sadness while their fellow citizens needed help. Began building their campsite. If the Durango Kingdom could survive being extracted from the real world, you thought, they could certainly survive this as well. When you brought back the fully charged crystal orb, the Queen couldn't help but smile, thinking about the life force that had just been drained from her people. With the Everworld energy put to good use, the power of madness is disappearing as well. Well, yeah, that's because that was the thing causing the madness. I guess that makes sense. I'm not sure why you were concerned it would kill them. Taking the orb from you and gesturing at the Durango people who, cured of their insanity, had returned to the campsite. There's still a chance to save the Durango people from madness. This mess of shadows and darkness, I can finally see the light. Yeah, maybe you just use that orb on everyone, it'll do the job. I divided the Everworld power you brought back into several parts. Other watchers will help recharge the floating equipment. The Queen handed you a gleaming crystal orb. You must bring the crystal orb to the floating equipment. The crystal orb will automatically recharge it. The energy will only be enough to hold the continent aloft for a short while, but by then the Durango people will have recovered from their madness and will find a new solution. One problem at a time. Okay. Short as in hours, days, weeks, months. Who knows? Okay, so now we are going back over there. This one doesn't count for some reason, so we'll go to the other 3. Okay, so neither of those ones counted. It's only these 3 for some reason. Why would they have 6 if only 3 work? Once you determined a way to save the Durango people from madness, a feeling of hope swept over the campsite. The fog of despair seemed to lift. You were glad to help, but you knew you weren't out of the woods yet. The floating continent was still sagging, and Dasher Adwin was still trying to destroy the Holy Land to bring further disaster to Hayward Seavale. If it wasn't one crisis, it was another. There was no time to lose. You recharged the floating equipment and returned to the campsite. You walked through a throng of people to find the Queen talking to her citizens, concern lacing her voice. When she noticed you, she stopped talking and sighed deeply. Eternal children, moments ago, Lucius suddenly awoke and rushed away, his wounds still gaping. None of us could stop him. Before Lucius left, everyone heard him muttering something about Ianafalalu. I'm not going to pronounce that right. But that's where he's going, the queen mused, pacing and wringing her hands. You must take the Lumen stairway to get to Ianafalalu. And it takes more than a day to climb the stairs. It's meant to slow down intruders, particularly out of shape ones. Unless... Oh, that's right. Lucius once arrived at the floating continent with the aid of a winged horse. I bet he travelled via Pegasus. She summoned excitedly. You told her you would leave immediately to catch up with him. Though you had no idea where you could find your own winged horse, it seemed Lumen Stairway was your only option. Good thing you'd logged so many hours on the Stairmaster of the... Oh, come on. Let's see. How do we get rid of that orb status? There we go. So, it looks like this is Ianafiano, whatever, up here. And it seems like that's going to be the dungeon. It takes a day to go up those stairs. Okay. Okay, I guess this does go all the way up. The stairs appeared, swelling skyward. You knew you'd arrived at Lumen Stairway, the only means to get to the center of the floating continent. Though you were a bit pressed for time, you had to admire the amazing glowing structure. What kind of unimaginable energy could be keeping it from falling? It was truly a sight to behold, glittering in the sun and so encrusted with diamonds. Perhaps you could come back later to further ogle the stunning staircase. For now, though, finding Lucius was your highest priority. After searching for a while, you found Lucius's winged horse neighing rather majestically, or as majestically as a horse could possibly neigh beside Lumen Stairway. You noticed a dark scarlet bloodstain matted into the horse's white fur. You feared it was from Lucius's open wounds. You needed to find him immediately, or it would be too late. You softly touched the horse's neck. It whinnied sadly, true sorrow in its big brown eyes, and put its head down as you mounted it. You looked up to the top of the stairway. It seemed to extend into another realm entirely, misted with fog and clouds. You could feel the evil presence of Dasha Adwin seeping into the air around you. You could only pray Lucius was still safe. You gently patted the horse's neck, trying to comfort it a bit. It nuzzled your hand, ready to find its master. Alright. Let's go. Ianafalalu. Ianafalalu. Alright, looks like we got 2 bosses. But I bet you there's gonna be a third, maybe. And here we are, some kind of sky palace above the clouds. Oh, and we got monsters spawning into us right away. Here is Lucius. You followed the trail of blood deep into Ianafalalu. Soon you found Lucius lying by the roadside, his fingers twitching just slightly, his eyelids fluttering. Syrupy dark blood leaked from the corner of his mouth. His heavy, laboured breathing indicated he had still not recovered from the Bane Prince's cruel torture. In his lifetime, Lucius had slaughtered countless fearsome monsters and bloodthirsty beasts, but every man has his limits. Eternal children, you came, Lucius managed, his eyes covered in a milky film. There is no time left to tell. He tried to silence Luchess, as each word seemed to pain him, but he ignored your request, continuing to squeeze out words. We must stop the Bane Prince from touching the core of Iana Falalo. Oh, you're finished, Luchess said before he dissolved into a coughing fit. While I was manipulated, I learned that his final goal was not to destroy the core of the floating continent. They can use Everworld power here to open portals connecting other timelines, which means they can return to the past. If nobody can stop the Bane Prince, this world will be destroyed. But why do they always want to destroy the world? What will they do after that? If the Bane Prince successfully returned to the past, he could begin his schemes before you were even born. The ramifications would be catastrophic. I will stop him, you pledge, squeezing Luchess's hand. His fingers intertwined with yours, then went limp as he slumped to the ground. I do hate dungeons where these spawn out of nowhere. Usually it doesn't happen in solos. But unfortunately we aren't that lucky with Iana Falalo. These mobs seem a lot weaker, too. Yeah, so we've got Holy. Int was cast speed, interchangeable. Yeah, I mean, it's just stats. Okay, we free hit it. Good to know. Okay. Well, from what I can see, neither of these look good for running solos for gold or XP, really. This one does have a nice one. This one does have some level of mob density, but anyway, curious if the bosses in the Holy Palace of the Sky are weak to Holy. Luck, okay. Okay. So it looks like there is still going to be one more boss. Giant goddess sculpture stood in your way. You could feel pure energy and an evil presence rubbing behind it. You knew you'd have to face the fearsome Bane Prince, made all the more powerful by absorbing an enormous amount of Everworld energy. A chill ran down your spine. However, it was your responsibility to do what you could to save the world from the Bane Prince's terror. You couldn't let evil triumph over good, it just wasn't your style. You examined the goddess sculpture carefully, but could not find the dark power that had transformed other guards from the Holy Land. Perhaps this was not one of the Bane Prince's traps, but you still had no idea how to get past it. Suddenly, a crack appeared near the statue's eyes, sneaking down her stony face like a tear. The light in the crystal in her palm darkened. Something was definitely wrong here. The goddess sculpture gradually crumbled to dust, and a strong, incredibly dark power emerged. It was enough to knock you to your feet. That's it? That's all you've got protecting your so-called Holy Land? Worthless. Dashat's familiar evil laughter echoed around you. You noticed that the goddess sculpture was the final line of defense for the Holy Land. The pure energy you felt emanating from it was completely gone. Your blood ran cold as you realized you were totally alone. It was up to you to vanquish the evil. You steeled yourself, gripped your weapon tightly, and walked toward your destiny. There he is in his crabman form. I wonder if you had to do this cutscene every time you do this dungeon. And again, weak to Holy as well. Dark resistance plus 10 and 5% chance to increase crit. Okay. Alright, well. Let's do this. Do it then. Snap me like the twig I am. There's the chest. The real protagonist. And of course there is a holy sword. Luchessa's sword. The blade of Luchessa's sword was jammed into the soft earth. It stood at attention, waiting. When your fingers touched the hilt, you could feel his lingering warmth, the last evidence that he had ever existed. You knew the world had been saved, but you were overcome with incredible sadness. You touched your cheek and discovered that hot tears running in rivulets down your face. Through your tears, you examined Luchessa's sword. Luchessa sacrificed himself, perishing together with Dasher Adwin without hesitation to stop the evil plan. Frustration overcame you. If you had just been a bit stronger, Luchessa would still be standing next to you. You suddenly caught a glimpse of something sparkling in the distance, a light in the darkness. You stepped closer. You stepped forward for a closer look, but you were still all alone. You remember that you still had tasks to accomplish. You had to report everything to the Durango Queen. And there were still monsters in Hayward Seavale to vanquish. You couldn't stop here. As you left, you picked up Luchessa's sword, felt its weight, its girth in your hand. Suddenly, you felt stronger. It seemed to lift the sadness from your heart. As an eternal children, it was your mission to continue helping the helpless. Luchessa would have wanted you to fulfill your purpose. You let the emotion wash over your body. Finally, clutching the sword, you walked away. Alright. Well, that's that. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like any new good dungeons to grind in 80 cap, but hey, we still got a Rose. When you arrived at the camp, the Durango people stopped what they were doing and parted to make way for you. You approached the Durango queen and told her what had happened. The Bane Prince's plans had been foiled, but Luchess had lost his life. You tried to speak quietly, the entire camp hung on your every word. You handed one of Luchess's swords to the queen. She examined it solemnly, noting the splashes of monster blood and the cracked hilt. Durango will never forget how you saved our country. Luchess's sacrifice at Lumen's stairway will be praised forever. After her solemn declaration, the queen lowered her head to show respect. The surrounding people kneeled around you in silent prayer. Well, looks like this could be the end of the quest line. Originally I was hoping to do the books today as well, but I think I'll save those for next time when we do the anecdotes and maybe the multis of the world boss too. But I'm not sure when that will be, because tomorrow will certainly be Devastation Dimension. And I imagine people are going to go pretty ham over it for the first week or so, so I don't think I'm going to be able to easily get people to help out with multis until the hype for Devastation dies down. But with that said, we need to go back to Hayward Seavale. We need to reunite with King Molman. Let's put this invasion to an end. So you could portal stone out, obviously, or just teleport back and use the wall portal to get here, but we are gonna walk back from Durango Kingdom, because that's how we do. Man, you have returned. The war in Hayward Seavale ended quickly. The monsters stopped appearing as the summoners were gone. The guard troops regained control of their city. King Molman, covered in dirt and monster blood, smiled heroically for his people. He gave a rousing speech for his soldiers, then approached you with a smile. When he saw your expression, his grin faded, replaced by a look of disbelief. He quietly told the king what had happened at Lumen's stairway and handed him Luchess's sword. Hands shaking, King Molman accepted the sword and touched the bloodstains. I should say thank you, but my son, Luchess, I am forever proud of you. He began to weep quietly, covering his face with his hands. The war against the Bane Prince was finally over, but the world had paid its price in the form of the truly noble hero's life. He swore to become stronger, so this would never happen again. Well, stronger we have indeed become. The power of our awakening, not much can stop us now. But with that said, I think we are gonna end the stream here. thank you for sticking around. Pay to win game. It is pretty pay to win. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of power creep and a lot of favor and whaling. Okay, but with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Ta-ta.